Okay. All right. Just so you guys know, I created this slideshow on Canva. So the membership that we have that we're paying for on Canva is really paying itself. I created some brochures and business cards and doing all sorts of really great things for marketing material and these kinds of presentations. All right. So this is, oh, here we go. This is all about paperwork tonight. All right, so purpose of a byline. Okay, I'm sure a lot of you had these questions before. Why do we need a byline? And that's where you write BY colon, and then you autograph your name. Okay, so the use of a byline establishes your authorship of the text and ownership of the signature. You add a copyright symbol after your signature to further nail it down. And, by colon John Mark Doe, of course, it's the John Mark Doe is in cursive, right? And that is your unique autograph. Okay. If you want to control your good name and not just give it away to every Tom, Dick, and Harry to be used for whatever purpose, counterfeiting is popular. Use a byline and claim the authorship of your own name. You can even go a step beyond and use an express copyright or letter C with a circle around it following your signature. And that's basically why we always use the copyright after our name. All right, so how to autograph using a byline. So by colon, and then your name and the copyright, adding TM. Now, trademark is actually if you're going to be using your name for business purposes. You don't need to trademark your name. And then you're going to add your red thumbprint. And so I have up here my byline, Tammy Ann Healy, a copyright, and I have my thumbprint over. Now, you always want to put your thumbprint over the last letter of your last name and the copyright. And you always want to put all rights reserved without prejudice, only used when communicating directly with corporations. Okay, so when you are writing to your friend, right, and you're going to talk to them about plans that you have for the weekend or something to that regard, and you sign your email as, Tammy, your friend Tammy. I'm not going to write Tammy Ann Healy with a copyright. These are only for when you're dealing with corporations, unless, of course, your friend is still a corporation. All right. All right, now let's get into the 1779 Declaration. Okay, this is the one-pager declaration. The purpose and benefit of this is based on the 1779 Naturalization Act, a simple requirement by which our forefathers identified themselves as Americans, not British, not French, not Dutch. This is your opportunity to declare yourself as an American. The 1779 package is the fastest way to land in America. It reverses all presumptions being held against you and blocks any further interference by the, quote, governmental service corporations, end quote, and their officers. We use the 1779 Naturalization Act, and we provide some necessary updates by which Americans, both those born within the physical borders of the states and those who have been naturalized as United States citizens, may establish and or re-verify their political status via recording their declarations with their state assemblies. Okay, and this is when you use the recording secretaries to record your documents and upload it and make it a published document so that you are properly declared. Okay. So other important facts about the 1779 one-pager declaration. This is not the same as expatriating your various persons from federal jurisdiction and is not the same as going to a U.S. embassy and doing a wholesale repudiation of all citizenship. We retain our state national status in any event, always, which means that we remain attached to the United States. And by the way, the United States is the soil jurisdiction, it's the county jurisdiction, okay? And if we so choose, can also retain our state citizenship. All we are repudiating is any foreign British territorial or federal municipal citizenships being presumed and conferred upon us without our knowledge or consent. The United Nations and U.S. Secretary of State and the U.S. Secretary of Defense have to be notified of your repudiation of federal territorial and federal municipal citizenship, both, as well as your claim of American state citizenship. Now, I want to pause here just for a second because I want those who may be new hearing this for the first time. When you are born on one of the 50 states, you take your nationality from one of the state that you're born on. So I was born on Connecticut, so my nationality is a Connecticuter, okay? And I'm a state national, but because I'm working for my state government, my American state government, which is the New Jersey Assembly, I have declared myself to be a citizen for my state. So I'm an American state citizen. And the difference between a state national and a state citizen in the American jurisdiction is that you, as a citizen, you owe your allegiance to your government. As a national, you owe no allegiance to anybody. You don't work for any federal government. You don't work for your assembly. You are just a free, sovereign American. Okay? But as an elected officer working for the New Jersey Assembly, or eventually when you start working on your county assemblies and you are elected into those positions, you then serve as an elected officer, and therefore you are a citizen. Okay, Nelson, you have your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, you said you're a Connecticut.
Yep.
But now you're in New Jersey. Did you switch your allegiance to New Jersey? And are you supposed to?
So it has nothing to do with your allegiance. It has to do with your nationality. No different. So I'll try to make this easier for you guys to understand. All of our what?
Follow question. So then we can move from state to state to state, but you stay a Connecticuter and I stay a New Yorker.
Correct.
Okay.
That's just your nationality.
Okay.
So for instance, if somebody was born in Italy and came here to America when he was an infant, his nationality is still an Italian, right? Because that's where he was born.
Right.
But he's been living in America and has become an American, right? Like through this process. Or if he was naturalized and then wants to correct his status to be an American, then he would have to, and we have somebody on the call tonight, and we were just discussing this before our recording. So she was naturalized on South Carolina. So she's a South Carolinian, but she has been living in New Jersey for quite a while now. And so she will be a part of the New Jersey Assembly when she corrects her status. So because she corrects her status in New Jersey or on New Jersey, that doesn't make her nationality a New Jerseyan. So your nationality comes from either the state you were born on or the state you were naturalized on, or if you have either of those, you can then, I think Malou did this. Malou had to do an affirmation where you get to choose the state in which you want your nationality on. Okay,
Okay.
and does that make sense?
Yeah, but now here's my confusion. If someone asks me, what am I now? I'm a New Jerseyan. Yes?
Yes,
No?
well, your nationality is a New Yorker, but you are
Okay.
a New Jerseyan because you are domiciled on New
See.
Jersey.
If I move to another state, that becomes my new domicile. Then I become that state. All right, thank you. I
Yes,
yield.
yes, and your nationality never changes though. Okay, so all of our states are separate nation states, just like Italy, France, England, Germany are all the same as New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. Okay, so we are our own nation states, and wherever it was that you were born, you that's your nationality. But if you move to a different state and you are still if you're working for the New Jersey Assembly, you are a New Jerseyan. You're domiciled on that state, so you are a New Jerseyan. Okay, I hope that, and Manuela, you have your hand up. Go ahead.
Just a quick question. So for me, I became naturalized in South Carolina because that's where I was stationed in the army. So I was born in Colombia, in South America. I moved here when I was 7 in 99. I got my green card sometime in the early 2000s. And then after that, I was just a green card. I joined the military, and in my service with the military is where I got my citizenship. So, am I able to claim my nationality in New Jersey though? I've never lived in South Carolina. Like I've never lived there. I literally just, took the oath while I was training
Yeah,
on the
and
base there.
on your naturalization paperwork, does it say South Carolina on it?
It does.
Yeah, so your nationality is a South Carolinian, but um, being domiciled on New Jersey, you adopt that and you're a New Jerseyan, but your
Oh,
nation
so I have to status correct with do I status correct with you and the recording officers here in New Jersey, or do I have to do that in South Carolina?
No, no, no. So wherever you're domiciled is where you're going to correct your status. It doesn't matter what
Okay.
nationality you are.
Okay,
So
thank you.
if somebody lives in California, but they've lived in now they're living in New Jersey, right? And they want to correct their status. We just need to know what their nationality is so that we can put it on their paperwork when we correct the status. Okay.
Gotcha. Very helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome. All
I
right.
yield.
And that's a good question, by the way, because there are quite a lot of people that are on the LRO that's not in New Jersey. They're living in a different state. I think somebody's on here tonight. Um, and um, and so they make the mistake of signing up on the LRO as somebody that lives or they sign up on the LRO as a New Jerseyan because that's their nationality, but they're living on another state. So their status correction has to happen on the state in which they're living on. So it's a very common mistake. So which is why we do these kinds of presentations to try to help with that. All right, now how to autograph. This is the only document, by the way, that you are going to print your name. Okay, you do not autograph it with cursive. So right here in this lower part right here, it says print your name, do not use cursive. Okay, like in your autograph. And you're still going to put that thumbprint over the last letter of your last name and over the copyright symbol. Okay, and you do this with blue ink, by the way. Okay, and the reason why they say blue ink is because you're coming out of the sea And then the red thumbprint is basically the land jurisdiction and, you know, your blood, right? So if you are married, okay, and you're going to put a nay, if you see this over here. So you're going to put your married name here, right? And then you're going to put your maiden name as nay. Okay. All right, moving on. Let's see, next one. Okay, witness testimony. So the purpose is that you want to have two witnesses who have known you for 7 or more years. And it can be witnessed by a recording secretary or a notary public. Okay. In the case of women who have married and changed their names, you will need to add reference to the birth name. So Betty Jo Boop, nay, Mellencamp, right? Mellencamp is her maiden name. The reason you create and develop the paperwork in the first place is to use it as a superior evidence of who you are, a lawful person, and the capacity in which you are acting, peaceful American state civilian. The two witness testimonies are more recent and therefore superior evidence that the American state national is who he says he is, or who she says she is. Okay. And the other thing I want to say is that your witness has to be 21 years or older. Okay. So in our jurisdiction, you're not an adult until you're 21. All right. So other interesting facts, witnesses should be known for at least 7 years if possible. And when describing the relationship, it shouldn't just read mother or childhood friend. You know, you want to, put a more meaningful explanation. So family members can be witnesses. And if your mother, sibling, spouse, or friend will be filling out the form, a more meaningful explanation would be appreciated. It might say something like, Manuela is my lifelong friend of 40 years, or Phil is my sorry, Phil. Phil is my husband of 18 years, right? Something to that effect. And you're going to use, again, blue cursive, must be 21 years of age. And while a public notary validates 18 and plus, so that's the difference, guys. If you're using a notary public and they don't know well enough about the age, you have to be the one that knows that the age that we require to be a witness is 21 years. And by the way, oh yeah, who's that? Go ahead.
Nelson.
Yeah.
As far as like a wife or something like that, if you're only married less than 7 years, is that a good way to describe it? Married 3 years, because they need to be 7. So you'd have to be known
Well,
each other.
if they know you for 7 years, you could say, I've known Nelson for 10 plus
7 years,
years.
married 4.
Yes.
Okay, I yield.
Yep. Okay. All right. Now we're going to move on. So just so you guys know, I want to go back here. So the two witness testimonies and the 1779 declaration, and in our first step, we have the political status. That's actually part of our first step, but the declaration, the 1779 declaration, the two witness testimonies is what is the 3 papers, the documents that actually get you back to the land and soil. Everything moving forward is actually highly recommended that people do because this is where the paperwork is going to work in your favor when it comes to the de facto. Okay. All right. So moving on here. Acknowledgement, acceptance, and deed of reconveyance or conveyance for immigrants. So if immigrants are just coming to this country, they're going to be conveying back, or they're going to be conveying to the land jurisdiction. But if you were born an American, unlawfully converted, you're actually reconveying back into the land. Okay. This document establishes that your trade name is being officially removed from the international jurisdiction of the sea and from foreign places like Puerto Rico and returned to a permanent domicile on the land and soil of your birth state, not a state of states. So it's not going to say state of New Jersey, right? The actual land jurisdiction state of the Union, which is New Jersey State. This repatriates your good name to the land and soil jurisdiction. Your birth certificate places you at sea and your good name shanghaied, so that's why you need to reconvey it back to the States. It repatriates you back to your original political status and standing. And you autograph this document in red cursive for reconveyance, blue cursive for conveyance. And you'll do it first, middle, last with your copyright and your your maiden name, if you're married, with a red thumbprint, and it should touch your autograph over the last letter. This one you don't put all rights reserved. Women are autographing with your legal name with maiden name in parentheses. Also, if a man has a name change, he can use nay with his born name. Okay, so I wanted to, just put a copy of what that looks like. Okay, it says, I, the living woman, Erin Eileen Jones, née Smith. So Smith was her maiden name. Being of age, of sound mind, and in good health, free of all duress or improper consideration, hereby acknowledge, accept, and reconvey my given lawful trade name, Erin Eileen Jones, née Smith, to the land and soil of Wisconsin or whatever state that you were born on. My state would be Connecticut, so I would put Connecticut. My native state, together with all derivative names, including Erin Eileen Jones, née Smith, Aaron Jones, Erin Eileen Jones, Aaron E. Jones, E. Jones, and in all capital letters going on and so forth. However way they stylize your name, because they use your name, you could see it on your bills, on your driver's license, all the different ways that they use your name. And all other variations, however styled, punctuated, spelled, ordered, or otherwise represented as pertaining to me and my estate, and hereby declare their permanent domicile on the land and soil of New Jersey. All prior powers of attorney with the exception of, and if you have a power of attorney, this is where you would put it. If not, you would just delete this portion, okay? And it says all other prior presumed or granted executorships, guardianships, and agency relationships are terminated and revoked effective with my natural birthday, July 7th, 1960, as I elect to be recognized as the sole living owner, executor, beneficiary, and agent of my name and estate since my 21st birthday on July 7th, 1981. I want to go over this with you guys so you understand, because I know a lot of people have questions about trusts and why trusts are created. Okay, trusts are created, or at least the government created your trust. The first ever trust that they created for you is your infant decadent estate trust. Okay, and so a trust is created because they're actually declaring you're dead. And so a trust is assets that go into something because you're either dead or lost at sea. So this is why when you correct your status and you are on the land and soil, you don't want to put your assets in a trust. You want to put it in a will, right? If you want to leave, because as a state national, all your belongings belong to you. Nobody can take them from you. When they converted you into a U.S. citizen or a lowercase c citizen of the United States, which is a municipal citizen, they created you to be a corporation, okay? And they created you to be lost at sea, okay? Dead and lost at sea. So they took all your assets and put them into this trust, okay? Which is why you need legal representation. If you go to court, you need an attorney to represent you, because technically you're lost at sea or you're dead. Okay? When you claim yourself to be an American state national, you're claiming, hey, wait a second. I do not, I'm here. I'm alive. I'm a living, breathing woman or man, and I'm not dead. So basically, you are claiming back all your assets. Okay? And no attorney can take those assets away from you. Okay? Now, if you want to leave your stuff to the next in line, like your family, because if God forbid you were to die in an accident and there is no will that you created for them, then all your stuff goes into a trust and, and it gets claimed again into a state trust. So it's really important for people to create wills, and you can record that on the land jurisdiction. We have a spot for that, by the way, on the LRO. Okay. Nelson, can your question wait for the end, or do you need to ask it now?
I guess it can wait.
Okay. All right. So you're going to use your name given at birth. So whatever name is on your birth certificate or on your naturalization papers, that's the name you're going to use. And it's the first state is where you were born, and second state is where you are domiciled. Okay. So I know on my paperwork, I had to put Connecticut as the state I was born on. That's where I get my nationality. And then I had to put the state, New Jersey, where I'm domiciled. Okay. It establishes the fact that you are a living soul of sound mind and body from birth state soil to the present soil you live on. Use all names and variations. You are reconveying all names and names in all capital letters from any presumption of being lost at sea and firmly establishing them on the soil. All right. Now, the second paragraph, this is where you revoke all powers of attorney that you may have knowingly or unknowingly granted. So when your mother signed your birth certificate, she signed over your rights to the government. And so anytime you get a ticket in the mail, which is why you get solicited by attorneys to represent you. Okay? And so when you correct your status, you're taking back your power of attorney. You don't need an attorney to represent you because you're not dead and you're not lost at sea. Okay. And you're also, as well as executorships, guardianships, and agency relationships when dealing with the corporations. So there is nobody that can supersede, no CPS, no social services. None of these organizations or agencies have any powers of attorney over you unless you grant it to them. And this is where you would want to add that. So if you are, let's just say, for instance, you correct your status, but you become, not of sound mind. Something happens, you had an accident, you can't speak or something to that effect, and you want to sign power of attorney over to your son or daughter or your sister, brother, or whoever, this is where you would add that in. Okay. Or you could make an amendment to this as well if you needed to do that. It also releases you from any presumption that you have authorized to the corporations, any power of attorney, executorships. Oh, I already read that. Sorry. Acknowledgement, acceptance, and deed of reconveyance or conveyance, power of attorney extension. And this is an extension. It's for anyone who wants to use it if you have someone who you have power of attorney of, in tandem with power of attorney with extension. Okay, so if you have power of attorney over somebody, you would have to do an extension to this. All right. Let's move on to certificate of assumed names, notice of transfer of reserved name. All right, this document takes control of every name. It also puts you in the secure priority creditor status. So there's no need to do a UCC1 or UCC2. And those of us who aren't familiar with these processes, because these were older processes when they were trying to nail down the right paperwork, Basically, this document, the certificate of assumed name, replaces that. You can go straight to an agricultural lien. All right. So purpose and benefit in the first paragraph. This document establishes your interest in and ownership of the various assumed names and assets attached to them, which you have used in the course of your lifetime. And as you repatriate them also to the land and soil jurisdiction, you reflag them as American assets, all owed the constitutional protections and guarantees. It is typically 3 to 4 pages long. Note this document can be used for businesses as well, and this is what we do use when people convert their business over to the land and soil. It provides you with the avenue of support of common law rights within the corporation, invokes the common law rights and remedies from the session laws of the state of Washington or state of New Jersey. This paragraph is written in parse syntax. All right, purpose and benefit for the second paragraph. This establishes the fact that the Sustakee v. Trust in your names was created without your consent or knowledge, no disclosure, and invokes the remedy in Article 4 of the Sustakee v. Act of 1666, which is as one, having been found to be alive. That's your remedy, by the way. Invoking the remedy sets the record straight that you are a living soul standing on the soil and that you and your estate are owed all benefit, control, and interest in the grantor trust estate and set free and clear of all liens, debts, titles held under color of law, tithes, fees, and all other encumbrances established by the corporations and corporations. So I want to point out here for new people, the reason why in this it says corporations with uppercase and lowercase, and then we have all uppercase. This one to the left is a British territorial foreign corporation, and this to the right over here is a municipal foreign jurisdiction corporation. Okay, and each of these corporations have used your good name in all different stylized formats to create these different trusts where they stole your assets. All right. Purpose and benefit, second paragraph continued. So physical post office address, you put your in care of, you put C-O and you put your street address. And then your zip code, your home, owner information, true and real trade name, grantee, private signatory, beneficiary, holder, transferee, first name John, middle name Mark, last name Doe, style bicameral, and surname, post office address, the physical address, and then follow that as such. Go ahead, Nelson.
Just a quick question. Do you have to write that owner information on the envelope?
No,
True and real trade name?
this is going over the second paragraph in the certificate of assumed names.
Okay, but you're just gonna write the physical address, care of, blah, blah, blah. But the
Right,
owner
right.
information doesn't
And
get there.
yeah, and when we're going to do another education piece, and that's going to go over postal offices and postal services,
Right.
because I know that this is confusing to a lot too. So, but we're not going to
Okay.
spend too much time on that right now.
I yield.
Thank you, Nelson. All right, going on to the third paragraph in the certificate of assumed names, the purpose and benefit are you are seizing control of your straw man names, the Sustakee v. Estate Trust, and reinstating it to your true trade name as the administrator. The purpose and benefit of the 4th through 6th paragraph of this document is it establishes the living you standing on the soil as the correct, true, and real trade name and address of your estate. The purpose and benefit of the actually, that was supposed to say, I think, 7th and 8th. It removes any obstacle of confusion between your assumed name and your true name. All right. Oh no, I guess, yeah, this is the 8th and 9th paragraph. Conveys or transfers the estate and all assets to the true owner and administrator, that is the living you, with a guarantee of prepayment and exemption from all taxes, tithes, and fees. And this is why these documents, the 928 documents, is important, especially if you are sending in your revocation of election to pay taxes, okay? Purpose and benefit of the 10th paragraph on this document, okay? It restates to the corporations not to violate you or your assets or property, past, present, or future, or you will seek remedy by putting a lien against their oath of office, their malpractice insurance, and any real or movable property. This remedy cannot be discharged by a bankruptcy or a probate claim. So this is the benefit of doing a lien process. And I want to make that very clear, is that when we lien a man or one of these corporations, this is our remedy. This is like us suing them, because this is like malpractice against their oath of office. Okay. All right. Now, the purpose and benefit of the 11th paragraph protects you, the living person standing on the soil of the United States of America, from any shenanigans from the foreign corporations. All right. Okay. So we are going to review. There's 3 acts of expatriation and oath of allegiance. The first one is the Sustakivi trust, okay? And that is stylized in all capital letters with your whole name, John Mark Doe, okay? So the purpose and benefit, it captures and reflags your vessels. You take down the foreign flags on each vessel and replace all with American flags. That's our civil peacetime flag. You are not expatriating yourself. You are expatriating these foreign entities, them, from their foreign status. Expatriate the vessels from governmental control to your control. First set for each name change with legal proof. No middle name, one expatriate, one middle name, and third expatriate, 2 middle names equals 7 expatriations. So basically what they're saying is that if you are married and you have 2 names, right? Your birth name and now your legal name, right? Your married name, you'll be doing 6 expatriations, 3 for your maiden name and 3 for your married name. And same thing with if you changed your name or if you got married a couple of different times, right? Or if you have 2 middle names, it gets tricky even with that. I had corrected somebody's status who only had a first and last name, and that was super easy to do. Anyway, this document is seizing control of the Sustakivi estate name. It firmly declares that you are not a citizen of the United States and renounces all presumed citizenship claims or other political status claims that the corporations, USA Inc., United States Inc., the United States of America Inc., and etc. And now the corporation that Trump is operating under is the United States of America LLC, okay, have made in your name. It repatriates your name to the land of your birth and the current address of where you live. You are clearly telling the corporations that you are not a citizen of anything. Your true status is that of a living person born on the soil of your birth state and now living in your current state. Your true nationality is an American state national. You travel and conduct trade as an American state vessel for all international trade and commerce, reflagging your vessel. All right, now this one is for your public transmitting utility. and it's in the style of John M with your middle initial and then your last name Doe. Okay. The transmitting utility name is firmly declares that you are not a citizen of the United States and renounces all presumed citizenship claims or other political status claims that the corporations, the USA Inc., United States Inc., the United States of America Inc., and now the United States of America LLC, have made in your name. It repatriates your name to the land of your birth and the current address of where you live. You are clearly telling the corporations that you are not a citizen of anything. Your true status is that of a living person born on the soil of your birth state and now living in your current state. Oh, I think I already, yeah. So this is the same thing. Your travel and conduct trade name as an American state vessel for all international trade and commerce. Okay, going on to the third name or style, and this is a ward of the state, and it's stylized with just your first and your last name, John Doe. All right, this document is seizing control of the ward of the state name. It firmly declares that you are not a citizen of the United States and renounces all presumed citizenship claims or other political status claims that the corporations have made in your name. It repatriates your name to the land of your birth where you were born. You are clearly telling the corporations that you are not a citizen of anything. Your true status is that of a living man or woman born on the soil of your birth state and now living in your current state. Your true nationality is an American state national. You travel and conduct trade as an American state vessel for all international trade and commerce. All right, moving on to the Foreign Sovereign Immunities Act, okay? The purpose and benefit of this document is a mandatory notice to the corporations that your vessel, which is you, is not acting in any presumed capacity with the corporations since your birth. You are owed all material rights, duties, exemptions, insurances, treaties, bonds, agreements, and guarantees, including indemnity and full faith credit. It also clearly states that you are owed the law of peace. If the corporations trespass on your sovereignty, you are subject to full commercial, they are subject to full commercial liability and penalties. This is a mandatory notice which tells the corporations who you are, a foreign sovereign from your birth state of the United States of America, unincorporated. It tells them that no presumptions can be made about you, the living person, that they shall commit no trespass against, and if they do, they will be subject to full commercial liability and penalties under 18 USC 2333, USC 1341, and 1342. It also tells them that you are owed the law of peace. Other important facts about this document: the Foreign Sovereign Immunities Act of 1976 is a United States law codified at Title 28, 1330, 1332, 1391, 1441D, and 1602 through 1611 of the United States Code. That establishes the limitations as to whether a foreign sovereign national, or rather a foreign sovereign nation or its political subdivisions, agencies, or instrumentalities may be sued in U.S. courts, federal or state. It was signed into law by President Gerald Ford on October 21st, 1976. This mandatory notice is aimed at noticing your employees that you are owed all rights and guarantees, duties, and exemptions. So the interesting thing about the de facto government is that while they were taking away all your assets and stripping you and robbing you and misidentifying you, they put into law in their codes exemptions. And so this Foreign Sovereign Immunities Act is basically telling them that you are well aware of your exemptions, and by law, they are to abide by it. All right, cancellation of all powers of attorney. All right, the purpose and benefit is that this will cancel and remove any presumption of any and all prior powers of attorney that you knowingly or unknowingly signed. We are removing all prior powers of attorney going all the way back to the date of birth. That goes for all legal names used, whether granted or presumed. If you've signed a contract, there could be somewhere in there written a clause where power of attorney is given. It could have been mortgage or other contract where you had no idea all the legalese happening, and when you signed, you granted them power of attorney. These are the things you're revoking. The cancellation of all prior powers of attorney should be created for each of the legal names used. Ensures that the corporations do not have any powers of attorneys tucked in their back pockets to be used against you. Other important facts of this document is Anna prefers to do one for every single name. It holds more weight. One per name, okay, to combine all names, but it holds more weight if it was separate. Can write with exception of, then name the power of attorney. Okay, so if you do indeed have a power of attorney, this is where you would put it in. Okay. So to use, if you have someone who you have as a power of attorney in tandem with deed of reconveyance with extension. All right, this is important too. I love this one, especially because of, you know, the COVID shots and whatnot. This DNA paramount claim, the purpose and benefit is to claim you as a zygote at the moment of inception. Claim your DNA from the moment of conception under your copyright. This document is about taking possession of who you are and your DNA and everything related to you when you were born. It is who you were born as. The paramount claim establishes a claim upon your life and DNA and unique identity back to the embryonic zygote, the fertilized egg that gave rise to our physical body. And I reference Anna's article here. See article 1913 by Anna von Reitz. It gets into more in depth about that. All right. All right, your declaration of political status, the purpose and benefit. Americans have been misidentified as federal citizens, subjects of the Queen, which is Commonwealth, and the Pope. This has happened without the knowledge or consent of the victims. The false registration of their political status was not fully disclosed to their parents, and it took place when the victims were still babies in their cradles. So we have had no way of knowing that this was going on. This results in an unconscionable contract, literally a contract that the victim is unaware of, that changes their political status from that of an American owed all the guarantees and protections of the constitutions to that of a foreigner on our shores owed no such guarantees or protections at all. Federal citizens, both species of U.S. citizen, have never been protected by the constitutions. They are instead subject to the constitutions. Rebutting this false registration that has been secretively entered in our names requires us to record our declaration of political status as American state nationals or American state citizens. And again, you could read Anna's article 2446 for more in-depth information on that. All right, I'm going to get into our fee schedule here. Okay. Purpose and benefit. Documenting harm and trespass used to send true bills and liens. Carry a copy of this with you in your travel kit. Send copies to corporate entities that violate or infringe on your copyright. If they continue to infringe on your copyright, send them a true bill for the copyright infringement. So this is basically fees that we have adopted that is basically if you get a a summons or a ticket of some sort and you rebut it, and they continue to come after you, you can use your fee schedule, send them your fee schedule to warn them that, if they're insisting that you show up in court, here's how much it's going to cost them for your appearance. Okay. And if they keep insisting that you show up, then you can send them the bill. And if they don't pay the bill and they keep harassing you, you can then put a lien on them. Okay. And that's a process that we're not going to get into today, but that's, the purpose of the fee schedule. Okay. All right, your revocation of election to pay taxes. All right, now the purpose and benefit of this is you are sending letters to both the IRS and the Internal Revenue Service. How many people are, I would say the IRS and the Internal Revenue Service are two different corporations. Okay, we were led to believe that the IRS was just an acronym for Internal Revenue Service, but the IRS is a corporation, a municipal corporation. Everything that's in all capital letters is always a municipal citizen, okay? The Internal Revenue Service is a British territorial corporation, all right? So when you send your letters revoking your election to pay taxes, you're sending them to both corporations, and one address is in Washington, D.C., and the other one is in New York. All right. Your voter cancellation, the purpose and benefit. So if you were a registered voter, you need to remove yourself from participating in private foreign corporate elections. Okay. And this was a hard one for a lot of people to understand because they're like, what do you mean I'm not going to be able to vote for a president? And it's like, well, that's not a president of our government. That's a president of a foreign jurisdiction government. Okay. And so if you are correcting your status as an American, why would you want to elect somebody in their foreign government? Okay. This is to clarify your political status and remove the presumption that you are a territorial citizen. So the other thing is that if you don't take these steps, they always have something to hold you to their jurisdiction. So if you truly want to get out of that system and you want to live as a free American, you need to fully remove yourself. And this is one of the steps, okay? And so you want to remove the presumption that you are a territorial citizen, the presumed foreign situs trust operating under your upper and lowercase name, to recognize the bogus corporate network now calling itself our government as legitimate, which it is not, as they have no lawful authority to do what they are doing without our consent. You have now removed yourself from the public domain as a federal territorial citizen, no longer defining your, quote, legal character, end quote, as a, quote, person, but as a living flesh and blood man or woman. You have now removed yourself from their statutory jurisdiction. You gain your natural right to elect your own public officials and conduct your own government and live under your own law. Okay, we have just one more. Other important facts about the voter registration, all right? Shouldn't all state assembly members cancel their voter registrations? Yes, they have to. This goes back to the requirement that all the actual land and soil jurisdiction state governments have forbidding dual citizenship. So you can't vote in both elections. You are either in or out so far as the states are concerned. The territorial and municipal governments both allow dual citizenship, but in establishing and operating the state general assemblies, we have to work for our state and conduct its business. I realize that, this is Anna speaking. I realize that their foreign corporation made it a crime for me or any other American state national to vote in their elections as of 1868. Read the 14th Amendment. Read it carefully. These are elections of corporate officers working for the foreign federal subcontractors and their federated state-of-state franchises and municipal franchise operations. These corporate elections are carried out by the shareholders and employees of these corporations, and they result in electing new CEOs, presidents, governors, and mayors of private corporations that are acting as, quote, custodial capacity with respect to our assets. Read that. They aren't presidents, governors, they aren't our presidents, governors, or mayors. Okay. Technically, they are our employees. And until the American people get back their power and correct their status and actually start operating the offices of our government, they're not going to recognize us. So, all right, I'm going to stop sharing that because that was the last. And we're going to open it up for questions. I know
Tammy, may I?
that was a lot. Yeah, go ahead, Phil.
Did you put that together?
Yes, I did, but I took the information from an Excel spreadsheet for recording secretaries that Lisa Schaefer shared with me.
Yeah, that was actually really well done. I just wanted to say, really nicely put together and really nicely presented. I'd actually like to put out there that maybe we could take and break these down even into the individual sections as like a training video for anyone who needed to go and refresh and get a re-education on these. And I would keep this as a general video to, help folks get more familiar with the individual steps. That was really well done. Thank you, Tammy.
Thanks, Phil. I appreciate that. And I am going to post this up to our YouTube channel. So we have a New Jersey Assembly Education and Outreach YouTube channel. So any of these videos that we do and we record, it's going to go up there. So if anybody misses it or wants to see it again, and I'll include it in the email, the link for it. Okay. Manuela, you have your hand up. Go ahead.
I was actually going to ask if I could have that PowerPoint because I thought it had a lot of really good information. So I don't know if you're willing to share that, but the video I could just go back and pause if you post it. So
Yeah.
thank you.
You're welcome. Priscilla, go ahead.
The one with the oh god, here I go again. The trust and the will. I really now need to have more information on that. I don't know if anyone else has in terms of the family, what we're doing. I thought that we were somewhere that as we could do trusts. Okay. I'm having I'm not understanding that completely. So I don't know if anybody else is having a problem with that. I'm not having a problem with, I understand it, but I have a problem with doing away with the trust altogether, and just doing a will. Okay. I never had that understanding. Okay. And
Yeah.
then another
you
one that there was part of your presentation that it said the mandatory notice. And the top sentence it said his. I thought the subject of it, on your paperwork says mandatory notice. It didn't say that on the presentment that you did. I don't know. I mean, if it's okay, but that's the difference that I had saw, and I was wondering if that one, is okay. Because if I'm going to look at it in terms of comparison to what I have, it doesn't say mandatory notice, and it might get people confused. You understand what I'm saying? Does anybody else understand what I'm saying?
Are you saying that I think I named it Foreign Sovereign Immunities Act, right?
Yeah, but what we have it, or what we've had for a while, it says mandatory notice.
Correct. Yeah, that's the document.
Right.
Yes, that's the document, Priscilla.
Yeah. Is there any way, so that's gonna be what it looks like now? Because all I have is mandatory notice. and then the first sentence on there, it said his mandatory. I just wanted to understand that,
It could have been a typo on my end.
Okay. But I really wanted to know, does anybody else understand what I'm saying in terms of the will and the trusts, in terms of family, what you leave, and you know, I actually understand even more so now what you said, but I'm still confused. Okay.
Well, so let's just and it's very hard to wrap our head around um uh these different concepts, right? Because we've been taught our whole life, that we need to put things in a trust to keep it safe, right? Safe from somebody stealing it, safe from somebody trying to sue us and take it from us, right?
Right.
That's the purpose of a trust. But we are um, collapsing the trusts when we claim ourselves to be Americans because we are living, breathing men and women. And so a trust is technically this wasn't taught to us, but a trust, the purpose of a trust is to put assets in that trust for somebody that is either um, dead or lost at sea. And that came from the 1666 Sustakee v. Estate Trust Act.
Hmm.
Okay, that's where that all started from, going back to 1666. So trusts are only for dead people, and I know that there's a lot of people that think that they should put a trust together. Now I know Anna talks about an irrevocable trust, and
Yes.
I don't know well enough about an irrevocable trust, except she was talking recently, I think, I forget where, because I watch her Tuesday podcast, her Monday night webinar, and I had a meeting with her. I don't remember when I heard it or how I heard it, but she was talking about the irrevocable trust that she had, and that trust was basically set up to protect the Americans from losing any of the things that she claimed back for us. And
Right.
so if she dies, that irrevocable trust goes to all of us. All of our
Right.
assets that she claimed back goes to us. So if you are concerned about your property and say, for instance, you want to leave your house to somebody, if something should happen to you, right?
Hmm.
That would go in a will.
Yes, I understand that, but you would probably have when families that are so varied nowadays, but you have people that's standing right next to you that's related to you as your mortal enemy, okay? Because you have political status are different. So I understand about the irrevocable trust, but there is a such thing as the revocable trust within a will. So a revocable trust, if you have somebody in your family that is like your enemy, and then because it's in a will, whether you're American state national, they get it. They get your money, and I don't want that person to have it. I don't give a damn if I'm related to them. So my thing is, I would do a revocable trust,
Yeah,
and I want.
I think I don't mean to interrupt you, Priscilla. I'm sorry, but I think Jessica, I think corrected me, and that I think is Anna's irrevocable will.
Mhm.
And I know Manuela said, what about a living trust? So
That,
again,
yeah.
these are all things that I think that a living trust is a double speak. So you have the legal system that is using, like, if you think about that, a living trust is kind of an oxymoron, like the same thing that they use when they say sovereign citizen, right? You can't be a sovereign and a citizen, just like you can't have a living trust. But I know that they exist. But again, that's all part of the legal system. So these
Yeah,
are
I'm
good
not
questions.
talking. I'm not talking about a trust. I'm talking about there is a revocable trust, And the irrevocable, and I understand what you're talking about with Anna, which is talking about our trust, but I'm talking about within a family or each individual straight state nationals. You
So
know,
Priscilla, are you concerned with, I think, for instance, that you're a state national, but your family members are not? So how would you leave them your stuff?
yeah, I'm not gonna leave them no straight up will. I'm not doing that.
That's a good question. That's not an answer I have. That would probably be a great question for Anna for Thursday night.
Okay, but I just wanted to also I want to know, is anybody else have that same, because I've been studying it, and I would never do an irrevocable trust. Okay, I would do revocable with a will. Okay, yeah, because I've heard that one. That's why I'm saying is like I don't want us to get okay, because Anna said revocable, irrevocable. So everybody, like, we do that. That's very, very important, you know,
Yeah, I
because
agree with you. You have to know and understand what you're doing.
Mhm. Yeah.
So from the standpoint of land and soil jurisdiction and as an American, we don't deal with trusts. Trusts are for dead people. And
Mhm.
so, or people that are lost at sea. And so, if you go and you ask Anna that question on Thursday, I think we would love to hear what the answer
Okay.
was.
All right. Okay, we'll do.
Thank you. Do you
I
yield?
yield. I
Okay.
yield.
Thank you. All right. I think Alice had her hand up next. Or does she still have her hand up? No. Okay, Nelson, go ahead.
Okay, my question refers to my mother. She just died. She's a state national. What do we need to do to deal with her will? That would be different.
Well, if she created a will through an attorney, and you're mentioned in it, then you just have to go through the attorney because that's what your mom did.
All right,
Because
there's no paperwork I can go
you
use
don't
and
need
to
to
go in
because
there and
because
change what's
basic
going on?
I don't think so, Nelson, because your mom created that will, and when she created it, she's using your, it could be considered your lawful person, right? Your name, on that, will. And so if you have to sign something, you could sign it as Nelson Halou, copyright, all rights reserved. That's
Okay.
that's what we did when we autographed our mortgage. We signed our names, copyright, all rights reserved, without prejudice.
Okay, now what about them withholding taxes? Is there some document I could use to prevent them from withholding her taxes?
Yeah, absolutely. We have
W-
multiple, but you guys have to do your whole 928 package, and you have to send your letters first.
Okay,
All right.
I
So
yield.
when we finish your paperwork, you'll be all set up to do that. Okay, Phil,
All
go
right,
ahead.
thanks.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right, thanks, Emmy. Hey, I noticed you didn't do the concealed carry. Was that left out for a reason? Was that because it's optional, or were you
Yeah,
planning on doing that?
I left it out. That's a good question. I left it out because I ran out of time to put the presentation together. If I'm being
I
honest.
caught you.
Careful,
But
we
yes.
might shoot you
Good
for
answer.
that.
Yeah, and Priscilla, if you're looking for someone to leave your money, I'll volunteer. You can leave it to me.
Okay.
Welcome back, Priscilla. It's good to have
All
you back
right.
in the meetings.
All right. I'll give you my few pennies.
Love you, Priscilla.
Love you.
All right, Manuela.
Actually, I forgot my question. I have too many. I have way too many. But I'm familiar with some of this already. I've studied a little bit of it. So I'm
Okay.
glad to be, I just want to say I'm glad to be here. And I would definitely love to, I don't know if you guys do like study, like or any sort of mentorship, anything. I'm down to, I'm in Central Jersey. So I'm open to anybody who would like to take me under their wing. I bake and I cook, so I I can
Is that a bribe, Manuela?
maybe I'm saying there will be an exchange of sorts.
Um, well, you know what? You mentioned a really great point because previously, and again, as I'm sure you can imagine, a lot of us are wearing many hats, and so our time is very limited. But I think anybody that's on this call tonight, Alice, Priscilla, Phil, Dan, myself, Nelson, Tom, we're all available, and Patisa, we're all available for you to reach out to. And so I'd be more than happy to share, because anybody that is an elected officer and is on our assembly, we technically are supposed to have a way for people to contact us. And so our emails are readily available for people to reach out to. Um, and so you could reach out to any one of us with questions, even if you want to just send an email to Alice, Priscilla, they're the coordinators, or myself. Anybody would be willing to answer any of your questions, take time. And I'm sure if they had to travel, they would love some baked goods. So,
What part of Central Jersey?
I'm in North Brunswick.
Oops, you're right, you're really close to me.
Are we neighbors?
Yeah, I'm Piscataway.
Okay, yeah, that's not too far.
Okay,
Cool, Priscilla. Nice to meet you.
good meeting you.
awesome. Okay, Alice.
I have a question. If you have a will and you made it, I'm going to say 2013, how would you change that now under the assembly? Would you
Well,
use,
you canceled all powers of attorney when you did your paperwork, and your paperwork was done in 2022, correct?
correct?
Okay, so what you'd need to do is you'd need to take your will and put it on the land, and you'd need to record it on the land recording office.
Okay. And that would apply to even people that aren't on the assembly that you've left something to?
I don't see why it wouldn't. So if you left something to, say, your granddaughter, and she's not a status corrected American, I don't think that that matters, because you're the status corrected American and you're leaving your stuff to your granddaughter, and so that's
Okay.
how it. Yeah, that's how it happened.
So I
But
take
again,
will.
I would ask these questions on Thursday night to Anna. These are excellent questions. And we can probably sit here and keep going round and round about it. And I'm sure she's probably had possibly some articles on it too. Yeah,
Okay, I yield.
okay. All right. Oh, Manuela, is that hand
Yeah,
up again? Yep,
are
go ahead.
guests able to join the whatever you're talking about on Thursday for with Anna?
No, that's only for it's technically a coordinator training call, and
Got it.
it's only for status corrected Americans.
Okay, sounds good. Oh, I
Yeah,
look
but
forward to
once you
being there in the
become
future.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay. And before we get off, I'm going to grab the YouTube account here so that you guys can grab that. Anybody else have any more questions?
I just wanted to say thank you again. Appreciate your time. Thank you, Tammy.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I hope that this brings some clarity, to why we do the paperwork we have, because it's so important when we are, dealing our everyday life, right? To know who we are and how to stand in our truth and in who we are. Jessica, go ahead. Oh, are you having trouble with your, you are, okay, do you want to type it? I think, Jessica, you can type it, and then I will speak it for you. How's that? Yeah. And I'm having a hard time trying to find, oh, Jessica said she typed it above. Okay, it says, in the certificate of assumed named, do you know why our home address is labeled as physical post office address? I think that, and I don't have a direct answer. I'm actually doing more study on post office and postal service. And I know I have a rural route address on my credential card. So there's all these little intricacies about postal services and post offices. Does anybody, maybe somebody else on the call tonight has an answer? Anybody knows that answer? I think it's because the
May I?
post office assigned your address to you, but go ahead, Nelson.
I don't know how accurate this is, but it's my understanding that we become our own post office and we're post office masters or whatever they call them.
That very
Um,
well could be.
Yeah, again, because we're sovereign and we have our own land. That's the land that becomes our jurisdiction. So your house, your property would be that. Most probably if you own it, for sure. I yield.
Yeah, well, I think your address actually is very different than I guess the post office. The address that in which they gave you is really what they assigned you. It's not your, it actually is giving them ownership of your house by the name of your address. So I don't know. I'm not 100% sure on that. And so I think you're onto something there and that makes some sense. I just want to be sure on that, before I want to look into it more and have a more definite answer for everybody. But yeah, we'll get there.
I don't claim that I know what I'm talking about, but I've
No,
heard something
but
like
it's a
that.
good, it's a good guess. I think you're onto something there. Dan, go ahead. Dan, you have your. Oh, there
Yep,
you go.
I know. Sorry, I just couldn't for some reason. Phone wouldn't unmute. I was just going to offer that there was a whole segment that Anna did on this. I'm going to say it was back in the fall sometime. I can't remember. I can't remember if it was on the coordinator training call or where it was, but she did a whole segment on the differences and why it is called the rural address and all that. I just fortunately can't remember, but I know she did a whole thing on it. I want to say it was like 30 minutes long or so. With that, I yield.
Oh, you got me excited. I thought you were going to say you remembered and you were going to tell us. maybe Mary knows. Mary, go ahead.
No, I have no idea. But I had a question. Well, I have a couple questions. My granddaughter, one of my granddaughters just did an irrevocable trust for me, but she texted me yesterday and told me I had to download it and get a lawyer to sign off, a judge, she said, to sign off on, a lawyer, one or the other. I have to go back and read the email, but she said I have to get someone to sign off on it. Why is that?
Well, if now is she like a paralegal or something?
No. I think that's what she worked and she was trying to do. She said, this is for my
Oh,
job.
maybe she did it online because I know that uh they have some things that you can do online, and then all you have to do is then go get it autographed by an attorney. The thing is that you are your own attorney.
So I won't have to take it to get it autographed by an attorney. I don't have $5,000 to pay him just to put his name on there.
No, no, you're your own attorney. So technically, and again, you'd have to look at the document and read it to make sure that there's no legal ease in there, right?
Mhm.
Because you want it to be a common law land and soil document. And so you would have to read through it and see if it makes sense and if there's any legalese in there, and you might have to, revise it and edit it to be more suitable. There might be, that might be something you can look on the TASA website. I would assume that on the TASA website, there is, a template for wills and stuff in there. So yeah, that would be my suggestion, Mary, is to do that. And I'll ask around as well.
Oh, okay, okay. And another, two more questions, and I'm finished. Okay, so what would be? I had a hard time logging on. As you see, I got on late because it wouldn't let me log on. I don't know if you changed the way we was logging on or what.
No,
I
I'm
was
sorry.
clicking on everything, it wouldn't let me in. So I had to wait. But last night I lost my YouTube last night. I do my meditation from my YouTube at night.
Yeah.
It wouldn't even come up. It just was I had a white screen all night long. I don't know what that was all about. I don't know if somebody playing with the phones or what. But
Tammy,
what was,
may I?
Oh, Alice, go ahead.
Maybe her logging on had to do with the decorum that you have to hit the buttons now before you can get in. It's just
Mary,
a
what kind of trouble
suggestion.
did you have?
well, I don't know. Everything I tried logging on. I thought, the
Well,
way we always did, but I think you must have changed something. Mine looked different.
yeah, so when you log on, there's a screen that comes up. It's a disclaimer, but it's basically showing our decorum, and
Okay.
you have to accept it in order to get in.
I tried. I tried. It wouldn't. It just. I don't
And
know
it
what
wouldn't,
happened. Yeah.
you might need to reboot your phone or whatever device you're using.
Yeah, I'm on my phone because my laptop is down right now, so I'm using my phone. That's why I forgot to watch on a Monday night because I watch on my laptop, and it's not working properly. Somebody's trying to hack it, so I had to send it to my grandson so he could repair it.
Oh,
But
wow. Yeah,
every time
maybe something's happening to your phone too. You might need to reboot that or something.
yeah, maybe so, maybe so. And one other question, then I'm finished. What would be the purpose of putting in your deceased relatives into your trust?
Say that again?
What is the purpose of putting your deceased relatives in your trust? So it will all pass down to your other living relatives? Is that it?
I've never heard of anybody putting a deceased relative unless, gosh, I wouldn't know the purpose of that.
No, not in your will, in your what was we saying earlier about making out the oh, it'll come back to me. It was whatever you was telling us to put everyone in there. I can't remember now. It wasn't a trust.
Your will, an irrevocable will?
No. Well, maybe that was it. Yeah, maybe it was.
Yeah, because in the de facto system, with attorneys, they will have you put your stuff in a trust to keep it like it's to safe keep it, right? So that other attorneys can't come after you and try to sue you and you know, regain possession or gain possession of your assets, right? But as a living man or woman, you no longer work as in a trust. You no longer need a trust because you've claimed back all your assets. And attorneys can't take your assets. It's your stuff. You're no longer dead. So that's something that we all need to get our, like, wrap our heads around and get used to. And these are great questions, probably to go and look up some of Anna's articles on her wills and some articles on trusts. And you know, and maybe we can come back and revisit this.
Okay, I yield.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have any more questions? It's 8:55. And so, you know, we're just a few minutes away from ending. Jessica, go ahead. Oh, so Jessica put, do you know what happened to Mattermost? Yes, Mattermost went away. Basically, in layman's terms, it's because adults couldn't figure out how to act like adults. They were acting like children. Unfortunately. So I will say that there is, if you are active in your assembly and you are working in committees, there's access to a document management server. And so we have that, but we also, in our assembly, we started an ICE Drive account. So in the ICE Drive account, I believe if you look on your agenda and you scroll through the pages, I've put resources in the agenda with links to the ICE Drive account. We also have a Telegram page. And so, you know, I'm going to see if I can. So somebody asked, by the way, also, what is the YouTube channel? If you scroll up in the chat, I put it up there. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. I sent that to Nelson. I don't know why it went to just Nelson. Hold on a second. I'm gonna copy this and put it. It's got to go to everyone. All right, sorry about that, guys. Can you guys see the link now in the chat that I put for the YouTube channel? Okay, good. All right, I'm gonna add also the, let's see here, if I could get I'm gonna try to get the Telegram page. So we use, Telegram is great because we get to share a lot of information in there. I can't seem to find it.
So this recording will be updated onto the YouTube?
Yes, I'm going to put this on the YouTube. Yep. All right. Okay, I'll send the, when I send the links out for this recording to everybody, by the way, I'm assuming that I have everybody's email address, but if I don't, put your name and your email address in the chat and I'll grab that so that I can include you when I send the link out. Well, actually, I just gave you the link for the YouTube channel, but I'm going to send other resources like the Telegram page and other things like that in there. So if you want to be added, just put your name and email address. And Jessica has another thing. She says, one more question. Do you know if anyone in New Jersey or if you know anyone else who has successfully done the MOCHI process for debt discharge or of bills, mutual offset credit exchange exemption? Well, I can say we did. We did the set off and demand letters. I actually went through a court process where the sheriff came to my house and, you know, presented me with a court case in which I just rebutted through paperwork. It was all through paperwork. And they finally just dismissed it. Now, I don't know what my credit looks like, but I'm hoping I don't have to worry about that system too much longer. And Crystal says you already have my email. Okay, good. Perfect. Let's see, anybody else that I missed? Yes. Oh, so Jessica says, yes, Larry, I hear that putting bracket on the zip code excludes their jurisdiction. Yes, that's for sure. From your document via the four corners rule. Yes. Thank you, Jessica, for and Larry. How do we get to be added to Telegram? I can, Manuela, are you on Telegram already?
Yes, I have Telegram.
Perfect. Okay, so I'll send you the link and you can get on there whenever you want to. Okay. All
Thanks,
right, everybody.
Tammy.
You're welcome. All right, if there's no more questions, I just want to say thank you guys for jumping on board. And you all have my email address and Alice and Priscilla's email address. And if you need to get in touch with us, you know, please do. We'd love to rescue as many Americans as we can, and help everybody, you know, get their assets back, and also to get this government up and functioning, so that we can see some normalcy, hopefully in our lifetime. All right. Well, thank you again, and everybody have a great night. Our next meeting is going to adjourn. Well, this meeting is adjourned. We're going to reconvene on April 2nd, and that's going to be at the Red Lobster in South Plainfield at 7 p.m. Okay, that's our General Assembly meeting. We also are doing outreach the last Wednesday of the month and the second Thursday of the month. And you can catch those up on our website. All right. Okay,
Tammy,
everybody. Yes.
may I?
Yes, go ahead,
So,
Alex.
I don't know how many people would be interested, but now Route 80 has been closed down in both directions. They found the sinkhole in the westbound lane.
Oh my
Ouch.
God.
Well, thank
Ooh.
you. Thank you for that heads up.
Yay! That was my
That's beautiful.
path.
Thank you, Alice. That's beautiful. Thank you.
I'm
That
sorry,
was my,
Dennis.
What
that
a
was
way
my
to
path
end
home.
this.
I have to
I was
put
like
up a
the long way
flag to
home.
get my car out of the yard now.
Yes. Now that the commute is a nightmare in both directions, 10 times worse than it would
Oh,
have normally. It's
wow.
just beautiful.
I'm gonna need a helicopter to get home soon.
Yes, exactly.
Oh boy.
All right, guys. Well, listen, you all have a wonderful evening, and I look forward to seeing your beautiful faces soon. All right.
Okay.
Great job
Thank
again, Tammy.
Thank
Thank
Have a great
you.
night.
Good night.
Thank
Thank
you.
Good
you.
night, everybody.
Night,
Questions?
everyone.
All right.
Good
Good
night.
Good night, everybody.
God
Good
bless
night.
everyone.
God bless you.
God bless.